can imagine the challenges you had to face, or this, before writing the version for this film. Did you get a chance to watch previous Romeo and Juliet film versions?
Well, the truth is I didn't, actually. I mean, I could have. I wasn't forbidden. But I felt it was better to read the play and work from the play rather than take other people's solutions to the different challenges and problems that inevitably are part of turning something from one medium into another. You know, whether you adapt a novel or you adapt a play or you adapt a newspaper story, you have to turn it into a movie.
Yeah.
And that's the principal challenge, to tell it visually, to compress it slightly because it's a 3.5-hour play.
Right.
It's a 90-minute or 100-minute movie. And I felt it was better not to see how, I mean, of course I saw the Zeffirelli one in the 60s, and I absolutely adored it. Yeah. But I don't remember it in sufficient detail to take his solutions.
Yes.
And that seemed to me to be better.
And when you say, you take either a play or a short story or whatnot to adapt into a screenplay, a movie, did you find it easier when you take a play and you adapt into a movie rather than you take a short story, you adapt into a movie because you have more information, more things to talk about?
No, funny enough, I don't know that I would say that, because I think a play is always conceived in theatrical terms. I mean, of course it is, and so it should be.
Yes.
But there are many films that have filmed plays that have not made a sufficient journey away from the play. And you are very conscious of watching a filmed play. Yeah. Whereas when you adapt a short story or a novel or whatever, you don't have that problem because the novelist's imagination, it will take you anywhere, so they're not thinking in theatrical terms. I mean, in a sense, Shakespeare is easier to adapt for the screen than some modern playwrights, because they are sometimes reluctant to stick a tree on the stage and say, now we're in the forest, you know. Right. Whereas Shakespeare thinks quite filmically in that way, that we're in the palace, we're in the streets, we're in the something or other, we're at the Capulet's house, whatever. And that would all be in the Globe originally sort of etched in some way or other. But he is not afraid of moving locations and everything else. Whereas if you adapt a modern play on Broadway, you do find that 7/8 of the action takes place in the sitting room or something, you have to deliberately take it outside, and that can feel very clunky on the screen. And quite difficult. But, Shakespeare was offering a different evening of entertainment. I mean, in his day, people would come and they'd sit and they'd talk and they'd wander around and they'd bring their supper and they'd eat, and people would sell supper, through the play. You go down and buy whatever it was and wave at your friends in the gallery and have a chatter and everything. And so this play that lasts 3.5, 4 hours was essentially an evening's entertainment. It was almost like going to a club or something. And then people be silent for the good bit, for the really great speeches. Opera was like that till the end of the 19th century. Now we have a totally different approach. We're very reverential. We sit in the dark. We don't talk, and we just watch it. And we clearly have a much shorter attention span, because it's hard to sit like that for 4 hours. I mean, yes, we do it for Gone with the Wind, but we don't do it for very many things. No. And this is also for young people, and hopefully to bring young people in to see this story who might not think that Shakespeare was their natural go-to guy for an evening of fun, And so we want to get over some of those barriers and shortening it. Now, it's very much part of that, but at the same time keeping the real speeches. I mean, all of that was quite testing, really. But it's interesting, the business of adaptation. In a way, the easiest of all of them is a short story, because you have to lose less, but it's not thought of in theatrical terms. And I suppose I could spend the rest of my life adapting short stories.
Great job, sir. Thank you so much for talking to us.
No, thank you.
I really enjoyed watching the movie.